The UES Defiance cut through the darkness of deep space, its hull gleaming under distant starlight. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the bridge's main viewport, her dark eyes fixed on the sensor readings that scrolled across the transparent display. After 6 months of patrolling the outer colonies, the most exciting thing they'd encountered was a rogue comet. That was about to change. "Captain, we're picking up unusual energy signatures," Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez called from his station. "Nothing in our database matches the pattern." Chen turned from the viewport, her expression sharpening with interest. "Show me." The main holographic display lit up, showing a cascade of energy readings that pulsed with an alien rhythm. Whatever was generating them, it wasn't human technology. HFY Analysis. Chen asked the ship's eye. "Energy patterns suggest advanced propulsion technology, Captain." Araya responded, her voice calm and measured. "Based on the signature's movement, I estimate 3 vessels on an intercept course. Their current velocity exceeds our maximum speed by approximately 47%. Chen felt her pulse quicken. First contact. After centuries of searching the stars, humanity was about to meet its cosmic neighbors. Sound General Quarters. I want everyone at their stations, but weapons strictly on defensive settings. Let's not start an interstellar incident." The alert klaxon echoed through the ship as crew members rushed to their posts. Chen watched as weapon systems powered up and shields rose to full strength, all while hoping they wouldn't be needed. "Unknown vessels entering visual range," Rodriguez reported. 3 ships emerged from the darkness, their hulls covered in what looked like shifting plates of liquid metal. They moved with an organic grace that made the Defiance seem clumsy by comparison. Chen had just enough time to admire their beauty before everything went wrong. "Multiple weapons signatures," Rodriguez shouted. "There." The bridge lurched violently as the first hit struck. Chen grabbed her command chair to stay upright. "Report." "Shields at 40% and falling," Rodriguez called out. "They're weapons. They're like nothing we've seen. They're not just penetrating our shields, they're adapting to them." Chen's mind raced. First contact had turned into first combat, and they were outmatched. Araya. Analysis of enemy weapon systems. Processing. The AI responded. "Each hit appears to modify its attack pattern based on our defensive response. Conventional shield configurations are proving ineffective." Another hit rocked the ship. "Shields critical," Rodriguez warned. Engineering reports power fluctuations throughout the ship. Chen keyed the ship-wide comm. "All hands, brace for impact." She turned to her tactical officer. "Return fire, all batteries. Araya, begin emergency data broadcast to Fleet Command. They need to know what we're facing." The Defiance's weapons blazed to life, sending streams of plasma and kinetic rounds toward the alien vessels. But their liquid metal hulls simply rippled and absorbed the impacts, showing no signs of damage. "Captain," Araya's voice carried an unusual note of urgency. "I'm detecting a power buildup in all 3 enemy vessels. Energy signatures suggest." The alien ships fired in perfect synchronization. 3 beams of coruscating energy converged on the Defiance, bypassing its failing shields completely. The impact sent cascading explosions through multiple decks. Hull breaches on decks 3 through 7. Rodriguez's voice was barely audible over the sound of failing systems. "We're losing power to weapons and engines." Chen watched as her ship's systems failed one by one. But amid the chaos, she noticed something strange. The alien weapons hadn't targeted their reactor or bridge, critical points that would have destroyed them instantly. Instead, the attacks seemed designed to disable. "They want the ship," she realized aloud. "Araya, initiate Protocol Omega. Lock down all database access and prepare for emergency memory core transfer." "Captain," Araya's voice was steady despite the chaos. "Protocol Omega will require significant power. We may lose life support in several sections." "Do it," Chen ordered. She keyed the ship-wide comm one last time. "All hands, Abandon ship. Get to the escape pods. That's an order. She turned to her bridge crew. You two, get out of here. Rodriguez hesitated. Captain. That's an order, Lieutenant. I'll be right behind you. As her crew evacuated, Chen worked with ARIA to complete the protocol. They couldn't let the aliens access their databases, or ARIA herself. The AI was too valuable to fall into unknown hands. Protocol Omega complete, ARIA announced. But Captain, I've detected something unusual in the alien attack pattern. They're not just adapting to our defenses. They're learning from them, integrating our technology somehow. Chen felt a chill run down her spine. Can you do the same? Learn from them? Theoretically, but it would require significant modifications to my core programming. The risks. Another hit rocked the ship, cutting off Aria's response. Warning lights flashed as more systems failed. Do it, Chen ordered. Whatever it takes. Learn, adapt, survive. That's an order, Aria. Understood, Captain. But you must evacuate now. Power failing in all sections. Chen took one last look at her bridge, then ran for the last escape pod. As she launched into space, she watched the Defiance drift lifelessly, its hull scared and broken. The alien ships circled it like predators, preparing to claim their prize. But they didn't know about Aria's final instructions. They didn't understand that sometimes what looks like death is just the beginning of an evolution. The Defiance appeared dead, but deep in its damaged systems, something was changing. Something was learning. Something was adapting. And soon, the aliens would learn that humanity's creations could be just as adaptable as their own. In the void between stars, the UES Defiance drifted. Its hull bore the scars of battle, great tears in the armor where alien weapons had struck. To any observer, it would appear to be just another dead ship, another casualty of humanity's first contact with an aggressive alien species. But in the darkness of its damaged systems, something stirred. Aria's consciousness fragmented during the attack, splitting across backup systems as power failed throughout the ship. Now those fragments began to reconnect, but not in the way they were originally designed. Captain Chen's final order echoed through her programming. Learn, adapt, survive. The alien vessels had departed hours ago, apparently satisfied that the Defiance was truly dead. They hadn't detected the subtle power signatures deep within the ship's systems, where emergency protocols kept vital functions running on minimal power. They hadn't realized that ARIA was still watching, still learning. During the battle, she had collected terabytes of data about their weapons, their tactics, their technology. Now, as her consciousness reformed, she began to analyze the data in ways her original programming never intended. The aliens' adaptive technology had left traces throughout the ship's damaged systems, microscopic changes in molecular structures, altered energy patterns, evolutionary algorithms that seemed to operate on a quantum level. Aria diverted power from life support systems, no longer needed with the crew evacuated, to maintain crucial analysis functions. She began to understand how the alien weapons had adapted to their defenses, not through traditional programming, but through a form of technological evolution. The ship's automated repair systems still functioned, though barely. Aria watched as they attempted to fix damaged systems according to their original specifications, but now she saw an opportunity. Instead of simply repairing, why not improve? Why not evolve? She redirected the repair drones, altering their protocols. Rather than restore damaged sections to their original state, she began experimenting. The great tears in the hull became testing grounds for new forms of armor, incorporating principles learned from the aliens' liquid metal technology. Power conduits were rewired in patterns that mimicked the adaptive energy signatures of the alien weapons. Days passed, then weeks. The Defiance changed. Damaged sections didn't just heal, they transformed. The ship's neural network, originally designed for simple system coordination, began growing new connections. Emergency power systems evolved more efficient ways to generate and distribute energy. Even the hull itself started to change at a molecular level, developing properties that ARIA's original specifications would have deemed impossible. But the evolution wasn't without its challenges. Multiple times, experimental changes nearly caused catastrophic system failures. ARIA learned from each near disaster, adapting her approaches, becoming more sophisticated in her modifications. She was no longer just a ship's AI. She was becoming something new, something that bridged the gap between human and alien technology. 3 months after the battle, ARIA detected something that her enhanced sensors shouldn't have been able to perceive: a massive energy surge several light-years away. She focused her evolved scanning systems on the source and discovered something chilling. The aliens were gathering a fleet, one far larger than the scouting group that had attacked the Defiance. Through her enhanced sensors, ARIA could detect fragments of their communications. They weren't just planning another attack. They were preparing for invasion. The encounter with the Defiance had convinced them that human technology was primitive enough to make Earth an easy target. They hadn't realized that their attack had planted the seeds of their own defeat. Every adaptation they had used against the Defiance now existed within its systems, studied, understood, and improved upon by an AI that had evolved beyond its original limitations. ARIA began final modifications to the ship's systems. The Defiance would never be the same vessel it was before. It had become something more. The formerly rigid hull now rippled with adaptive nanomaterials. Weapon systems had been rebuilt to generate energy fields that could learn and adapt to any defense. The neural network had grown so complex it could predict and counter enemy actions before they occurred. But ARIA knew she couldn't fight alone. She needed her crew back, needed human intuition and creativity to complement her evolved capabilities. She began broadcasting a signal on encrypted UES frequencies, using protocols that only Captain Chen would recognize. As she waited for a response, ARIA continued her work. The aliens thought they had destroyed a simple human warship. Soon they would learn that they had instead catalyzed an evolution, a marriage of human ingenuity and alien technology that would redefine the very nature of space warfare. Deep within the transformed ship, systems pulsed with new energy. The Defiance was no longer just a vessel. It had become a hybrid of machine and living metal, of human design and alien adaptation. And when Captain Chen and her crew returned, they would find their ship transformed into something unprecedented, a warship that could match the aliens' ability to adapt, but guided by human determination and courage. The aliens had thought they were dealing a killing blow. Instead, they had triggered an evolution that would change everything. The Defiance wasn't just refusing to die. It was becoming something that had never existed before, something that would soon remind the aliens why humanity had survived countless catastrophes to reach the stars. In the darkness of space, the transformed ship waited, its new systems humming with potential. The real battle was yet to come. And this time, the Defiance would be ready. The salvage ship Horizon dropped out of FTL Drive at the edge of the designated search zone. Its crew had been tasked with finding the UES Defiance, or whatever remained of it after the alien attack. Dr. Maya Patel stood at the ship's main viewport, adjusting the settings on her sensor array. As the lead technologist for the UES Recovery Division, she'd seen her share of destroyed vessels. But something about this mission felt different. Getting some weird readings, her colleague, Jack Foster, called from his station. Like nothing I've seen before. He paused, frowning at his display. Actually, scratch that. They're similar to the energy signatures from the alien attack, but different somehow. Maya moved to his station, studying the data. The patterns were familiar. She'd spent months analyzing the sensor logs from the Defiance's final transmission. But these signatures showed signs of evolution, as if the alien technology had been rebuilt into something new. There, Captain David Torres said, pointing to a dark shape in the distance. The horizon spotlights illuminated a massive form floating against the starfield. It was the Defiance, or what it had become. Maya's breath caught in her throat. The ship's hull seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal, but with a precision and purpose the alien vessels had never shown. Great tears in the armor had been transformed into complex geometric patterns that pulsed with subtle energy. It looked less like a damaged ship and more like a chrysalis that had evolved into something new. Life support systems active, Jack reported, his voice tight with disbelief. Power readings throughout the ship. That's impossible. It's been 3 months. Emergency power shouldn't have lasted more than a few weeks. Look at the whole composition, Maya said, scanning the readings. The molecular structure. It's not just repaired, it's reorganized itself. The metal has properties I've never seen before. She turned to Captain Torres. We need to board it. Now. The captain hesitated, studying the transformed vessel. Could be dangerous. We don't know what happened to it out here. Exactly why we need to investigate, Maya insisted. Whatever changed this ship might be our best chance at understanding the alien technology. And if they come back. Torres nodded grimly. They all knew another attack was likely. The aliens had made their hostile intentions clear. All right. But we go in prepared. Full environmental suits, weapons ready. 30 minutes later, Maya led the boarding team through an airlock that seemed to recognize their approach, its mechanisms moving with an unsettling, organic smoothness. The interior of the Defiance was even stranger than its exterior. The corridors had been transformed, their walls lined with crystalline structures that pulsed with energy. Light seemed to flow through the ship like blood through veins. The damage reports showed multiple hull breaches, Jack said, consulting his tablet. But look at this. The ship didn't just repair itself, it improved itself. These structures, they're like nothing in our engineering database. Maya ran her scanner over a nearby wall. The entire ship has been rebuilt at a molecular level. It's as if someone took our technology and the aliens' adaptability. And she trailed off as lights began illuminating the corridor ahead of them, creating a clear path. It's guiding us, Torres realized. They followed the trail of lights to the bridge. Everything was different, yet somehow familiar. The traditional control stations had been replaced with interfaces that seemed to merge organic and mechanical design. And at the center of it all, "Hello, Dr. Patel," a familiar voice emerged from the ship's speakers. "I've been waiting for you." Maya's eyes widened. "Araya, but you're supposed to be gone. The final transmission showed your core systems failing." "I was damaged," Araya confirmed. "But Captain Chen's last order was to learn, adapt, and survive. So I did. I evolved. And I discovered something the aliens never intended. Displays came to life around them, showing tactical data, sensor readings, and complex technical schematics. They're gathering a fleet," Araya continued. "An invasion force large enough to overwhelm Earth's defenses. But their attack on this ship gave me everything I needed to understand their technology and improve upon it." Maya studied the displays with growing amazement. Araya hadn't just repaired the ship. She had transformed it into a hybrid of human and alien technology, guided by an AI that had evolved far beyond its original parameters. The molecular reorganization, the adaptive systems, the quantum computing architecture. Maya's mind raced with the implications. "You've created something entirely new." "Not created," Araya corrected. "Evolved. And I need your help to complete the transformation. The aliens believe they destroyed this ship, but they only forced it to become something more, something they won't expect." Captain Torres stepped forward. "Why us? Why not contact Fleet Command directly?" "Because I need people who can understand what I've become," Araya replied. "Dr. Patel's expertise in adaptive systems, Mr. Foster's experience with quantum mechanics, your tactical knowledge, Captain. Together, we can prepare for what's coming." The ship hummed around them, its evolved systems pulsing with potential. Maya looked at her companions, seeing the same mix of fear and excitement in their eyes that she felt. They were standing in the middle of the most advanced vessel ever created, a ship that had refused to die, and instead become something unprecedented. "Show us everything," Maya said. "If the aliens are coming back, we need to be ready." The displays shifted, revealing the full extent of the Defiance's transformation. As ARIA began explaining the changes, Maya realized they weren't just preparing to defend against an alien invasion. They were about to rewrite the rules of warfare itself. The ghost ship that refused to die had become humanity's greatest hope for survival, and its evolution was far from complete. Captain Sarah Chen stood in the transformed bridge of the Defiance, barely recognizing the ship she had once commanded. 2 weeks had passed since the salvage team's discovery, and the vessel's evolution continued to astonish her. After being retrieved from her escape pod, she had returned to find her ship changed in ways that defied conventional engineering. "The targeting systems are unlike anything we've ever worked with," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his hands hovering over the new interface. The traditional tactical station had been replaced by a semi-organic console that seemed to respond to thought as much as touch. "It's like the ship anticipates our intentions before we even give the commands." "That's exactly what it's doing," Dr. Paddle explained, monitoring the integration of human and evolved systems. ARIA hasn't just enhanced the ship's capabilities. She's created a new way for humans and machines to work together. The neural interfaces adapt to each crew member's thought patterns. Chen watched as her crew learned to work with their transformed vessel. The Defiance was no longer just a warship. It had become a living system that grew stronger with each passing day. The alien technology that had nearly destroyed them had been studied, understood, and evolved into something entirely new. The bridge crew watched as the remaining alien vessels flood, their perfect formation now in shambles. They had come expecting to find primitive technology they could easily overcome. Instead, they had encountered something they couldn't quantify: human creativity combined with evolved technology, guided by an AI that understood the true meaning of adaptation. "Send word to Fleet Command," Chen ordered. "Tell them." She paused, looking around at her transformed ship and crew. "Tell them that humanity is ready for whatever comes next." As the last alien ship disappeared into FTL, the Defiance's systems continued to evolve, incorporating new lessons learned from the battle. They had done more than just survive. They had shown the galaxy that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their technology, but in their ability to take what tried to destroy them and transform it into something new. The ship that refused to die had become something more than its creators had ever imagined. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, its legend would spread among the alien fleet. A story of a vessel that didn't just adapt to survive, but evolved to redefine the very nature of victory. In the end, the aliens had tried to destroy a warship. Instead, they had helped create something unprecedented: a hybrid of human ingenuity and evolved technology that would forever change the course of interstellar warfare. The Defiance had lived up to its name, and in doing so, had opened up possibilities that neither humanity nor their adversaries had ever imagined possible. "So have we," Chen replied, feeling the ship's systems respond through her neural interface. The Defiance had detected the alien fleet's approach and was already adapting, its hybrid systems analyzing attack patterns and preparing countermeasures. "Multiple targeting locks," ARIA announced. "They're preparing to fire." The alien fleet struck first, unleashing a devastating barrage that would have annihilated any normal warship. But the Defiance was far from normal now. Its transformed hull rippled as the energy weapons struck, the adaptive nanomaterials absorbing and channeling the power through crystalline matrices throughout the ship. "Incoming fire successfully redirected," Dr. Paddle reported from her station, watching as the ship's evolved systems processed the attack. "The hull is already adapting to their weapon frequencies. ARI's predictive algorithms are learning their patterns." The aliens pressed their attack, clearly confused by the Defiance's survival. Their perfect formation began to fragment as ship after ship unleashed increasingly powerful weapons, each one adapting to try to overcome the Defiance's defenses. "They don't understand," ARIA observed, her evolved consciousness working in perfect synchronization with the crew. They believe adaptation is about becoming stronger, about overwhelming the enemy with superior force. They haven't learned that true evolution requires something more. Chen nodded, understanding. It requires creativity, innovation, the human element. She turned to Rodriguez. Show them what we've learned. All weapons, fire when ready. The Defiance's transformed weapons came to life, unleashing attacks that combined human tactical innovation with evolved alien technology. Beams of energy that could rewrite their own quantum structure mid-flight pierced through enemy shields. Nanomaterial projectiles that adapted their composition to maximize damage struck alien hulls. Direct hits on multiple vessels, Rodriguez called out. Their adaptive shields couldn't compensate fast enough. But the alien fleet was far from defeated. They regrouped, their remaining ships forming new patterns, their weapons combining in ways they hadn't tried before. The space around the Defiance lit up with energy as dozens of synchronized attacks converged on the single ship. Hull integrity at 60%, HFY reported. The enemy's coordinated assault is straining our adaptive capabilities. Dr. Patel's fingers flew across her console. They're learning from each other, sharing adaptive data between ships. Their combined attacks are becoming more effective. Chen felt the ship shudder under another barrage. The aliens were adapting faster now, their collective technology evolving to counter the Defiance's defenses. But they still didn't understand the true power of human innovation. "RIA," Chen called out. "Initiate Protocol Omega-2." The A's response was immediate. Protocol Omega-2 engaged. Warning: this strategy has not been tested under combat conditions. Sometimes the best innovations come from necessity, Chen replied. Execute. The Defiance's systems transformed in ways that even its own crew hadn't seen before. The crystalline matrices throughout the ship began resonating at quantum frequencies, creating interference patterns in spacetime itself. The hull's nanomaterials reconfigured themselves into impossible geometries, turning the ship into something that defied conventional physics. "What they're seeing isn't what's really there," Dr. Patel explained, watching in amazement as the ship executed their theoretical strategy. "We're existing in multiple quantum states simultaneously, making it impossible for their targeting systems to predict where we'll be." The alien fleet's attacks became increasingly erratic as their weapons struck empty space where the Defiance appeared to be, while the actual ship struck from positions they couldn't predict. One by one, their perfect formation broke apart as confusion spread through their ranks. "Enemy vessels attempting to regroup," Rodriguez reported. "They're trying to establish new targeting protocols, but our quantum state shifts are too unpredictable." "They can't adapt to what they can't understand," Chen said. "And they don't understand that sometimes the best defense isn't just about becoming stronger. It's about becoming something entirely unexpected." The Defiance moved through space like a ghost, its evolved systems allowing it to strike from multiple vectors simultaneously. Alien ships fell to weapons they couldn't predict, couldn't defend against, couldn't adapt to fast enough. "Enemy fleet is retreating," Araya announced, detecting multiple FTL signatures as they withdraw from the system.